It certainly has been a special month for the royal family, has it not? It's really been a month of firsts. King Charles was anointed with holy oil, and Queen Camilla officially became queen. So God forbid anybody believes that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was not in on this game, because over the weekend she became the first Her Royal Highness to show up as part of the Eurovision Song Contest. On Saturday night, Catherine gave the roughly 160 million viewers of the competition a very big surprise when she showed up during the broadcast in a video showing her playing the piano. She was wearing a gorgeous blue Jenny Packham gown to show her support for Ukraine. And basically, immediately thereafter, Catherine and her husband Prince William's social media accounts were filled with activity, most notably including a behind-the-scenes video of the shoot inside Windsor Castle's Crimson Drawing Room. But, interestingly enough, there was somebody else with an HRH who showed up on social media over the weekend, none other than the former hashtag imperator herself, Meghan Markle. While Meghan's personal return to the platform has been speculated but hadn't happened yet, it was instead former model and co-founder of LA philanthropic group Alliance of Moms, Kelly McKee-Zajvan, who shared the new photo. So Ms. McKee-Zajvan commented under the photo, which was posted on both her and the organization's accounts, that they just wanted to thank Meghan Markle. Now on Instagram, it looks like Catherine and Meghan, a couple of royal wives, do have something in common. But when we dig a little deeper, it's pretty clear the two couldn't be more different. One big difference is that currently only one of these two women seems to really be thriving. Only one of them has gotten to see their image and brand get stronger, and then the other reportedly is on the verge of a relaunch after a decidedly boring 6 months and waning public approval. I don't think I even need to tell you which is which, and don't take my word for it, you only need to look at the numbers for proof. So that Catherine post has been liked more than 585,000 times, but the one from Kelly has only 100 likes. Perhaps there is a question of visibility here, considering that the two accounts have 14.9 million compared with 64,500 followers. But anyway, just imagine if this had gone down back in 2020. Meghan showing up on Instagram would have been a very big story. CNN probably would have included it in its live coverage. A new shot of Meghan, especially one of her showing her support for this kind of good cause, would have been out there on every media outlet. Every detail would have been dug through like satellite imagery of tank deployments or a newly discovered copy of the Old Testament. But instead, that Meghan photo has made only the most minor of ripples. In only 3 years, Meghan and her husband Prince Harry have gone from being people who may be able to get the President Joe Biden on the phone. I mean, that's how big they were at one point. But at this point, their recent sushi night ended up on TMZ, and that's all the coverage they've gotten. So it looks to me like these two images of Catherine and Meghan certainly sum up precisely where they are right now, like some kind of visual temperature check. On the one hand, we've got Catherine, who seems to have decided to lean into princessing with gusto. I mean, the gown, the hair, she looked perfect. And the choice of that over-the-top Windsor Castle room. Excellent choice, Catherine. The entire thing looked like some kind of Hollywood set. It looked like the designer had been given the brief princess and carte blanche in terms of budget. Not only did she look like she was dressed for the occasion, but it looked like it was always her destiny to end up on the fast track to being a queen. Meghan, on the other hand, looked like an LA cool mom who has very big opinions on cotton sheets. Like she goes to Pilates every single morning and she knows all the best crystal shops. What stands out to me the most, though, is that Meghan is a portrait of wasted potential. When Meghan and Harry ran away from royal life in the months before the pandemic began, and we started having to sanitize all our groceries that came through the door, and we were making sourdough starter, it looked like the world was Meghan and Harry's on a silver platter. It looked like they had access to untold wealth, power, and fame. Their future looked incredibly bright. We thought we would get to see them co-hosting the Met Gala or maybe presenting an Oscar. It looked like everything was within their reach. Meanwhile, back in London, Catherine and Prince William looked like they were going to be eclipsed. In comparison to Meghan and Harry, they looked a bit fusty. They looked like they were too much of the rule-following type, and they were bound by the expectations of monarchy and Princess Anne's death stare. More importantly, they often seemed a little bit boring. They seemed like a couple of people who could make conversation about the weather and who seemed to have the spark and dazzle of, well, a microwave sausage roll. But Meghan and Harry made themselves look like their opposite, thrilling, all brilliance, with a kind of bold storyline that would have Hollywood begging. It's really interesting how much has changed since those first weeks of 2020, isn't it? To what degree that seemingly reasonable assessment of the Wales and the Sussex fortunes has been completely dumped upside down. My goodness, though, Catherine has proven to have quite the bold streak that we didn't know she had. She's made herself look a little bit like a rebel, in fact. She launched her bid to remake a fundamental part of UK society, and she has also finally discovered this amazing thing called fashion. Meanwhile, over in California, Meghan and Harry are not doing very well. Most of their commercial endeavors has been them just rehashing their royal escape story. And as of April, YouGov polling had Harry being liked by 46% of people and disliked by 26%. And for Meghan, the numbers were not any better. In fact, they were worse. She had 36% favorability and 24% unfavorable. In spite of the fact that they've got agents and lawyers and mega deals out the wazoo, and they have people like Oprah and Netflix bosses and Spotify execs on speed dial, somehow Meghan and Harry have managed to transform themselves into cultural and political irrelevancy. Of course, their choice to spend the last couple of years litigating their case against the monarchy with the occasional charity interlude has left them in a pretty disappointing position, actually. They've already dished on the juicy details of how everything went wrong, so at this point, their stock has dropped. The Sussex star is basically done. I understand why Meghan and Harry wanted out. Personally, I can't blame them. I think that for me, being trapped in royal life would be really difficult to deal with. It would be suffocating. But still, they haven't ended up anywhere near where anybody had thought they would today. In 2023, they simply do not carry weight as public voices in the way they once did. But this week, Meghan, and maybe even Harry, is planning to fly to New York, where Meghan is going to get an award from the Ms. Foundation. And then on Friday, they're going to celebrate their 5-year wedding anniversary. If ever there were a perfect moment for a rebrand, this would be it. And would a maneuver like this manage to pull them out of their current nosedive? Finally, how long is it going to be until we see Prince George and Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis being dragged into some kind of Eurovision video, I wonder? Kensington Palace looks very much like it's hooked on the narcotic of hashtags and likes at this point. So at this point, it looks like a lot is relying on the algorithm.